We are here. Gemini is here. Bard is now going away. It's being retired out to pasture. But this is the big news. Jaden, I feel like we've been talking about Google and Gemini for 12 months almost at this point. I think somebody told me the other day, or maybe it was today or something, that Bard was celebrating its 1-year anniversary with that debacle of a thing where they lost like $1 billion of valuation or something like that.
100 billion.
100? I didn't want to sort of sound like an idiot. I cannot believe it. This is the law of large numbers. When Google loses a little, Google loses a lot. But here we are. We have been talking about this in the run-up. It was teased for a long time. Jaden, tell us what the news is around Google Gemini. What do we need to know?
Yeah, okay, so a couple things that are interesting. First is that Google Assistant is now partially powered by Gemini. It's not completely. This isn't, I guess, the big news everyone's talking about, but honestly, this is something I'm so happy for because after ChatGPT came out and we realized how powerful it was, I was like so annoyed that Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, and Apple Siri were not powered by LLMs. Their technology just seems so archaic in comparison. So it's really exciting for me to see that these assistants that everyone uses are now starting to go there. I'm really, I know I don't like to trash talk Apple because I feel like if I look at my watch time on podcast episodes, as soon as I start trash talking Apple, like my listens go down. Everyone's like deeply offended and has to go away. So don't be deeply offended and go away. But Siri could use a big facelift. I think something needs to be done to Siri. Apple's working on stuff, so I have full confidence they will get there and figure something out. But it's really exciting to see that Google is going in the right direction. And I believe I heard Amazon is rehauling, like pretty much the entire Amazon Alexa team is getting rehauled to build something there as well. So I think everyone's going in the right direction. I'm excited for this. What I will say, so Gemini Advanced is now launched, or sorry, Gemini Ultra. And you get a couple things out of this. First, for free, you can use Gemini and you get the Pro 1.0 model. And this just essentially, it's kind of like, I think, ChatGPT 3.5. It's the free version. You can get some basic stuff. It can give you help writing, planning, learning. It integrates with Google Apps. So I think that is something that a lot of people like, is that it's going to be built in and integrated to Gmail and Docs and that kind of stuff. If you pay $20 a month, right, the same price as ChatGPT Premium, then you get the Ultra 1.0 model. So you get the Pro for free, but you get the Ultra if you pay $20 a month. And this is what they're calling their most capable model. It's got state-of-the-art performance. Well, okay, I'm reading off of the Google webpage here. So like state-of-the-art performance. Wow, how vague can you be? Designed for highly complex tasks. And it says available soon in Gmail, Docs, and more. So it's actually not even available for Gmail or Docs yet, which I think, I don't know, whatever. I don't see why, if the model functions and if Gemini Pro works with Docs, why you wouldn't just get Gemini Advanced working with Docs. But maybe there's some back-end work they got to do to like make sure that it can validate if you're a paid subscriber or not a paid subscriber. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. I feel like they have a lot of people in their company. If they can get one AI model working, they should be able to get both. But that's just me being a little pessimistic. This is really cool. I think Google is stepping up. Now, while all of this sounds like fantastic news, there are some caveats. And that is, we have some people on this very podcast who have been testing out Gemini and the results are in. So Connor, I'm going to turn this over to you as our in-house AI model tester.
Hayden, what is happening with Google? Like, honestly, I've said this before, but I love Google. I use all their products. They are, I don't want to say near perfect company, but they are outstanding at what they do. And ever since last year with their LLMs and with Bard and everything like that, it has fallen down on me over and over and over again. And I don't think I'm alone on that. First of all, the fact that they're kind of touting this thing where they get, Ultra, get Ultra for 2 months for free. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like the market cap of Google, they have cash, right? They're like Apple. They have tons and tons and tons of cash. Why would you not do the land grab that Meta is doing right now and just say, hey, everybody, just take this. ChatGPT is giving you, like, look, GPT-4 costs $20 a month, I mean, like, that's not nothing. Now, OpenAI gives you a ton of other features with that. But why? Oh, why? would Google immediately jump into, hey, I know we've had like a really bad model up to now, but now we promise it's good and you can have it for $20 a month. Meta is losing billions of dollars on doing this open source. And why are they doing it open source? Because the revenue model is certainly opaque at best, right? But they're doing it to try to get developers on there, to try to get people using their platform. And then they're seeing this as an ad revenue play, right? Google is in huge trouble with ads, right? I mean, Google's revenue is driven by ads. And if you're sort of like, an SEO person or something like that, you are sweating. I think about this stuff all the time about how do you get now an LLM to go to your site, right? I work with travel companies. I work with a lot of places that are like, how do we get people sort of like testing us, right? I mean, like, how do we get people sort of like driving to us? Because it's no longer, you can't just put up a Google ad anymore. So the fact that Google hasn't figured this out, that they're kind of offering Ultra state of the art. I like that you laughed at this, Jaden, because state of the art means that they've caught up to where GPT was last March, which is just hilarious to me, and that they're sort of like advertising.
And still debatable if they've fully caught up.
Jaden, okay. Finally, I'll come to the answer to your question. Sorry, I just had to rant a little bit. I have been testing this, and look, have I been testing for hours on every single metric? No, I haven't, and I trust that the metrics that show that it's around GPT-4, I trust. But I'll tell you what, if I'm using Google over something like ChatGPT, the reason that I am is that it's connected to the internet, that Google search is legacy. It's fantastic. And I've been posting about this on LinkedIn and talking about it on my new website, AI Mindset. This whole idea that if Google's going to do anything well, it's going to give you real-time data, right? So I was trying to do this. I said, hey, give me the top 10 juiciest stories of AI news from the week. It gives me stuff from the last 2 years, right? I'm like, okay, can you give me citations? It's like, absolutely, here's some citations. And I double checked again. Oh, it's stuff over the last 2 years. And then it sort of also says, and I posted about this on LinkedIn as well, it's sort of saying like, oh, and guess what? Google created this, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives me and I'd never heard of it. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but it gave me the citation, and it was an OpenAI like press release. And I'm like, this is an OpenAI product. You said it was a Google product. It's like, oh, my apology. The whole my apologies thing.
Mm-hmm.
My God, my apologies. But anyway, like this is par for the course from my experience with Google. I'm throwing it out there to people like, tell me when you are using Bard or Gemini and it's actually productive, because I am not finding a ton of people loving this. Jaden, I don't know what you've heard or if you've tested it or your just thoughts on all of this.
Yeah. So I don't love the way they've integrated everything, to be 100% honest with it. I think they're struggling. Now, I think that there is a solution, and this is what my proposal would have been. But of course, I don't have all the numbers on like revenue within Google, and I guess I could go look at their like quarterly earnings reports and probably get a better idea. But I'll leave this for the Google people. But here's a thought or a suggestion. Why do they need to charge $20 a month when they already have? Because essentially that's going to like cut out a lot of people from using their best model. That everyone's going to use their worst model and just feel like it's way worse, because I can't imagine that their less impressive model even is as good as GPT 3.5. So if that's the case, I don't see, if their best model is $20 a month and is arguably not as good as GPT-4, why would you pay for it? So they have a monetization model though that they can lean into, and that is Google Drive. So currently, you get the notifications, your Gmail calendar, your Gmail email is full. You got to upgrade. I'm upgrading. I have to upgrade all the time because I'm adding tons of stuff, and I'm like, oh, a few bucks a month, whatever. Like I'm storing, like a terabyte or something crazy on my like Google Drive of all my podcast episodes and all my stuff, right? So I have like tons of stuff that's just storing there. I don't even know what it is. I feel like a hoarder, right? Like I have this giant garage full of stuff I can't get rid of, don't want to look at it or sort it, so I'll just pay a couple extra bucks, right? Yeah. This is the perfect model for these things. If you want to store your chats, they just upload to Drive. They just take some amount of storage space and they fill it up faster. You just got to pay monthly for it. So I think that would have been like the easy, like I don't see why they would do Docs, Sheets, Slides, Gmail, all for free with the same Google Drive monetization model. And then this, they're like, but this is different. And of course they do incur a cost when you chat with this thing. So I understand that, but they also have a lot of money and they're behind. So if you have a lot of money and you're behind, you would think you would offer this for free to try to like gain some ground in the market, especially when you're not the best product. If you're the best product, yeah, go ahead, charge a premium because you're the premium product. They currently are not. I know that you say you trust their metrics for being similar to GPT-4. I do not trust their metrics. I have looked over their reports, and they've absolutely cherry-picked data in the most ridiculous ways possible to try to say that they can barely, like, by a sliver beat GPT-4 or meet it, but it's like they did like a bunch of searches and they excluded all the ones that like GPT-4 was better at, or they just did ridiculous things. So I want to like Google. I use them for everything else like you. Great company. I do think that they're struggling with a little bit of an identity crisis right now. And maybe there's bloat in the system. Maybe it's the bureaucracy. I'm not 100% sure. I also I will admit, Google has a lot going on. These people are running Gmail and YouTube and a lot of massive things. So I know that they're busy and you can't just say, oh, they have way more people. Why can't they
apologizing for Google right now? My gosh, they are like the biggest company on the planet. They have 200,000 people, and you're like, oh, poor little Jaden, give me a break.
It's
okay,
true.
Here's the thing. I am with you on all of that stuff, though. Here's the problem with it. They are sort of seem to be neglecting what else is out there. I know and I think you too, right? I mean, obviously you and I both pay for OpenAI's ChatGPT-4 because it has a ton of other things. It's connected to the internet, code interpreter, drag and drop, Dolly. It has everything, right? I also pay for Midjourney. Maybe that's a little bit much. That's $10. I also pay for Perplexity because I've replaced Google search with Perplexity. And if you can imagine what Google search would be worth to you, to me, that's easily $20 a month. But you can use Perplexity for free, but I love the product. But I'm not on Microsoft Copilot, which is $20 a month, and then Teams on GPT, OpenAI's Teams, which is going to be essentially $25 a month if you do a year subscription, something like that. Point being that these things are adding up. It's like the streaming services where it's like, oh, I'm saving so much money. I cut the cable. All I need now is Netflix, HBO, and Disney Plus or whatever. And now all of a sudden you add those things up. It gets crazy, right? And this is where Google, again, take a page out of Meta. I'm no giant Mark Zuckerberg fan, but oh my gosh, if he is not the CEO of the year outside of maybe Microsoft or maybe
I hate to say it.
I hate to say it, right? But by God, I love Google, but Sundar Pichai, what's happening here? How are you trying to get people to pay another $20 a month for a model where your two demos back in last February and then back in whenever it was, December or something, were both essentially faked demos? Jaden, what are we doing here?
Yeah, no, it's funny because you have public perception of these companies and these people, but then you have results. And at the end of the day, as a user, and I think all users, all we care about is the results. How good is the thing? It's not just about how shiny is the product. And Google has made some very shiny demos, but yeah, they literally faked them. I feel like I got, the wool pulled over my eyes when I watched this demo, and I was literally posting on LinkedIn saying, oh my gosh, look at how amazing this product is from Google. And then I come to find out they pre-scripted and pre-recorded, and it was just anyway, so not a good look. And then charging for it. So I think there's a monetization method here. It should go through the Google Drive ecosystem, and just make you pay for storage. This thing should be free. They should really be trying to push for land grab. I think their concern is that if they make it free, then people get used to it being free. They don't want it to get paid later when it gets better. But at the same time, I think OpenAI had a great strategy for that, which is give this away for free. Now we make an even better version, and that you got to pay for. And I was willing to pay for it because I got hooked on the free version. But when they're when their version's not as good and you got to pay for it, it's ridiculous. Anyways,
agreed. Let people use Ultra for free, and then have them pay for it to sort of better search your Gmail and Drive and all that kind of stuff. I totally agree.
And I guess last thing I'll say on this, because I know we're harping on it maybe too long, is that there is precedent for the strategy we've proposed, which is Microsoft is literally giving away GPT-4 for free in their Bing chat because they want people to use Bing chat. So, and I literally I talk to people all the time where I'm like, oh, you should go create this graphic or do this thing. And they're like, okay, I did it. I'm like, oh, cool. You have you have OpenAI Premium or whatever, ChatGPT Premium. They're like, oh no, I just use Bing chat. And I'm like, it's interesting because it's not something I use a lot, but I'm like, it makes sense. If you don't have a subscription, that's kind of a no-brainer way to go you get Dolly integrated for free. You get GPT-4 integrated for free. So I think Microsoft is pulling a bunch of people into their ecosystem for that. And absolutely hats off, kudos to them. So it makes a lot of sense.
Totally agree. Yep.
If you enjoyed the podcast today, make sure to drop us a review. The one thing I wanted to say is make sure that you are subscribed to Connor's newsletter, The AI Mindset. We're going to leave a link in the show notes for this. This is an absolutely amazing newsletter. You have to be subscribed. It will change your life. He breaks down the latest and greatest in AI. So it's amazing. Make sure that you are on that, as well as leaving him a review. because it will make him so happy.
Over the moon.
Over the moon. Hey, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and thanks so much for tuning in.